So basically it's like this. There was this girl and her name was Caramello because she was sweet like caramel, but also she was chill. She was mellow. Like she never got all like yelling and stuff. But she had a kind of messed up life. Her mother had passed away in the Persian Gulf War, and so her father remarried this nasty ass wench named Sharon, and she was all messed up. But she was rich though, so that's why he was down. Sharon had 2 daughters from a previous relationship, but they were straight up nappy as well. One of them was named Radish, and she had these buck ass teeth, like she looked like a horse, for real. And the other daughter, her name was Henry. She basically looked like Nitro from American Gladiators. All 3 of them were always drinking and getting drunk and yelling at Caramello and, getting to know each other. And the thing is, Caramello's father, he wasn't around to protect her because he was always on the road selling Encyclopedia Britannica to various households in Pomona, West Covina, Bellflower, and so forth. Also, Caramello didn't have any friends because Sharon made her clean the house all days. Basically, Caramello's only friends were like little mouses and little bugs and stuff. Anyway, one day, Radish brought home this flyer for a party at this club on Fairfax and Sunset, which used to be a thrifties, but supposedly it was getting rented out by the Prince of United Arab Emirates, and he was going to convert it into a club for one night only. But Caramello already knew that Sharon would never let her go with them, so she was so bummed. So the next night, Radish and Henry and Sharon got all dolled up, but they still looked nasty. They all went out, while Caramello just cleaned up more diarrhea. She was all scrubbing and she was singing to herself when all of a sudden she heard a little bell ringing, and she looked over to the window only to see a little gay ass goblin kind of man crawling through the house. And he was all like,
"Hey, what's up, Caramello? You down to party?"
And Caramello was like, "But wait a minute, what?" And the dude was like,
"You down for like what else?"
And she was all like, I'm down for like what else? And he was all like,
"Because you can go dancing or what else?"
And she was like, "Okay, but like how? I don't even have a nice blouse to wear or anything." And dude was like,
"Don't even trip, Caramello."
And he snapped his fingers, and just like that, Caramello was dressed up in this nice-ass one-piece vinyl jumpsuit, complete with a pair of silver flippers. Caramello was like, how you do that? He was like,
"I'm a fairy. I do as I please. Now fetch me a pumpkin."
She was like, "Alright." She went into the fridge and got out a nice, plump, juicy squash. They went out to the driveway, and just like that, the pumpkin morphed into a nice-ass 1983 Toyota Tercel hatchback, fully loaded. Then, about 10 of the little mouse friends came running out into the driveway. Poof. The mouses turned into like little men, wearing little dwarf-ass matador outfits.
"This is your crew. They will escort you to the club. Oh, and one more thing. You gotta be back by 2 a.m. at the latest."
She said, "How come?" And he laughed and said,
"Don't even worry about it."
So Caramello went on her way. Once inside the club, Caramello blew everybody away. Basically, Caramello and the prince walked right up to each other, and without saying a single word, they slide, baby, slide. They danced the night away. Finally, the clock strikes 2 a.m. Uh-oh. Caramello had lost track of the time. She basically just scrambled out of there as quickly as she could, and in doing so, one of her silver flippers fell off, which the prince snatched right up. The next day, the prince went on a city-wide manhunt in search of the woman whose feet smelled like the foot that was in the silver flipper. He went door to door, feet to foot, and searched every building for such a stench. Finally, he came over to Sharon's house. He smelled the feet of Radish. Pass. He smelled the feet of Henry. That's gonna have to be a pass. And then, as he was about to leave, he noticed a kind of cottage cheesy crunch kind of smell. The Arabian prince then followed his nose to the bathroom and opened the door to find Caramello scrubbing brown chunks all off the sides of the toilet. The prince took one more big sniff of Caramello's big feet, then smelled the flipper, and just like that, his quest was over. After that, the prince and Caramello got married, and the prince moved into Sharon's house. The truth was, the prince had been banished from his home in United Arab Emirates, and he used up the last of his money to find the owner of the flipper. On the plus side though, the prince basically took charge of the household and made Sharon do all the cleaning. This allowed Caramello to go back to school at Pismo JCC. And the prince, well, he's just all about relaxing. And that's basically it.